Hi, welcome to Barb's Kitchen Center. My name's Celeste and this is my test kitchen. Today we're going to be making pesto. Pesto is one of my favorite condiments. It is generally made with basil and pine nuts and garlic and olive oil. But today, because last night we had a pizza making class, I have a bunch of leftover cilantro from one of our toppings. So I'm going to use up the cilantro and make pesto. But even before I start that, I'm going to use the Bosch food processor, and I want to show you how to get the blades on. There we go. No, actually what I want to show you is the number one call we get when somebody buys this accessory for their Bosch is they will go to put it on, and no matter what you do, no matter how you hold it, there is no way you are going to get this on to the drive that it's intended for, because you can't. This is the lock that keeps you from putting it on with the lid, without the lid. And the only time you can get that lock to release is once you lock the lid on. Now, it goes on easy peasy lemon squeezy. But literally almost every time somebody buys this, we get calls saying it doesn't work, including from me when I first got it. So don't be embarrassed, happens all the time. Anyhow, moving right along, we're going to take our cilantro. This is about 110 grams if you weigh it, and I'm using the stems because we cut off all of the bad bits. And another tip, if you have any stemmed herbs like this, or even your celery, and they're looking a little sad and wilted, cut off the bottoms just like you would if you got some flowers. Put them in a little bit of cold water and put them in your fridge. They'll perk right up. And it will extend their life by a good 7 days anyhow. So this is going to be really, really super packed. And then we need our Parmesan cheese. I've grated mine. You can put in like whole chunks of it, but I just find it makes a lot of noise, and I find that unpleasant. So I just quickly grate up a whole bunch of cheese. This would be, 25 grams of Parmesan cheese. But a pecorino or anything hard would work. It's perfectly fine. Then we're going to use another substitute. I couldn't find the pine nuts anywhere in the fridge. They've gone MIA, or I used them up the last time I made pesto. So I'm going to use the leftover pistachios I have from the last time I made biscotti. So it's about 25 grams. You can make it a little nuttier if you want, but 25 grams is about right for me. And then, of course, we need the all-important 2 cloves of peeled garlic. And I usually choose the biggest ones I can find because I really like the garlicky flavor. And then a half a teaspoon of salt. Black pepper to taste. If you like a lot of black pepper, then go for it. And then we're pretty much ready to put it on the mixer. I just need to find what I did with my lid. Haha, there you go. All right, on to the drive. Make sure it's locked in. I'm just going to blitz it for a couple of minutes before I start adding oil. That just helps get the nuts starting to break up. And now we'll slowly add about 5 ounces of oil. And before I'm done with this, I'm going to taste it. And I have one little cilantro that decided he didn't want to join the party. So I will give it a taste. Could use just a wee bit more salt. clean spoon, and I will mix this cilantro down here and scrape off the sides. Give it another quick blitz. There we go, now everybody's mixed. Use the back end of my spoon. That's nice. So, what are you going to do with all your pesto? As you know, if you leave your pesto out, it will turn a dark green. It's still okay to eat, but once it starts oxidizing, it may not be quite as appealing. So there's a couple of things you can do. Since Tony's here shooting video for me today, I'll give him a little take-home container. So you can put your pesto that you're not going to use in a container like this. It's handy. I had people here this morning. Spoons all over the place. So simply sealing the jar will still allow it to continue to oxidize. So we're going to take a little bit of our oil, cover the top because that will block the air from getting at it. Then we will put the lid back on. And your pesto should stay a nice light green like this because the oil is protecting it from the air. And when you're ready to use it, pour off the excess oil. And if you're going to be frying something, use that oil to fry your steak or your hamburger, your pork chop, because it'll have a nice, in this case, cilantro and garlic flavor. And you wouldn't want to waste that flavor. So now Tony can go home, he can make himself some pasta, he can put this on instead of sauce, he can make himself a pizza and use this instead of a tomato sauce, or he can just sit down with a piece of bread and eat the whole thing, whatever makes him happy. With the rest of it, because we made pesto last night and we used it on our pizza, I don't really need a whole lot more pesto today. I have fed the mechanics next door and the hairdressers on the other side of us, so everybody's had more than their fair share of pesto. But I'm pretty sure sometime in the next week or two, I'm going to want some pasta. And unlike my boys, just putting ketchup on my spaghetti does not make me a happy camper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the leftover pesto in my super cubes. And I'm using the half cup super cube because pesto is like a dip or a condiment. You don't generally use whole cups of it or 2 cups of it at a time. So if I freeze it in sizes that I'll use, then I can just take out what I want and not be left with a whole bunch of pesto that's going to go bad, and I'll have it for a very long time. I can save it this way for up to 6 months. It might be a wee bit watery when I take it out, but you can drain that water off and still have. And I'll just wipe these off. Excellent. So I can put a little oil over this if I want, but because I'm going to freeze it, I'm just going to put the lid on and put it in the freezer. And the next time I want to have a pizza or pasta, or if I have unexpected guests come over, I'll have pesto ready to go.